Nice, nice. Hey everyone, how are we all doing? Welcome to the Tuesday Tune-In. If this is your first time onto the Tuesday Tune-In, I'm Andy, this is Dave.
Nice to meet you.
From Evertrek. Thanks for joining us on what's going to be an awesome live. Dave, we're going to be talking about Kili, we're going to be doing the winner announcement.
Yes.
Quite excited.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk all things Kilimanjaro and winner announcement.
Apparently it's competition.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. So winner announcement. Very excited.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I already know.
What, the winner?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't tell everyone.
I know. I can't tell everyone, but I'm really excited. But yeah, no, awesome. One of my favourite lives to do. Every time we do it, the competition winner announcement is just. I can't wait to do it. But Kilimanjaro must come first.
Exactly. So we're gonna start with obviously the trip because there's a lot of people on here as well who have been watching this Tuesday Tune-In. So we started the Tuesday Tune-In way back. Feels like the dark days now during the pandemic.
It was March 2020.
It was.
What was
it?
going on during March 2020? Because I think we had a little of free
Wales
time
Scotland
on
got
it.
cancelled.
Yeah, that was it. Yes.
I was really good.
Yeah, Stereophonics gig went ahead.
But anyway, we kind of started the Tuesday Tune-In back then, and this is actually, I think, the 151st episode. So last week, typically, we forgot to celebrate quite a big milestone, which is 150 episodes.
It was literally afterwards we sat down and Zach...
It's episode 150.
Yeah, Zach is now the producer, would you say?
Yes.
Because I already saw a comment say, this is getting posh. You're right, we're moving up in the world.
Yeah, over the years, we've done, we went to the Altitude Centre, we've been at Cotswold Outdoors, we've done some kind of work at Brecon Mountain Rescue around the charity stuff, here at Evertrek headquarters. But hopefully going forward, we have a little, kind of trying to rejig the setup, trying to make it a bit more, because around the technical side of it, and Zach, who's just behind the camera there, he's Zach, he's giving his hands up like this.
You wouldn't, normally I would turn my webcam around to show you
we haven't got one now.
But you wouldn't believe the setup that's in front of me right now. It's, what do we say? We'll never let professionalism get in the way of a good show.
I know.
Yeah, Zach's the opposite.
Exactly, he is 100% professionalism.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, we're really excited, and we tend to talk about different subjects because one thing we wanted to do, especially during the pandemic, and why we started these Tuesday Tune-Ins, is to answer people's questions. For all the different trekking adventures out there. Obviously, high altitude is what we do. On the majority of our trips, and we're doing it for several years now. And Kilimanjaro, we've been doing it for just over 3 years, 3.5 years. We've been running trips to the summit of Kilimanjaro, and we enjoy doing these kind of competitions. So any questions about the trip, because obviously if you've entered it, great. We've had over 20,000 people actually enter the competition, which is nuts. So thanks to everyone for being a part of this, obviously especially our Evertrekkers and the community. And sadly, obviously, it can only be one or two winners, or one, you choose a friend to go with you. But we always, keep an eye on your emails as well after the live, because we do things like runner-up prizes and things like that. So do keep an eye on those. And something a bit different today, isn't it? We're actually going to call the winner.
Yeah.
We haven't done this before.
No pressure at all.
So nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are watching this and your phone starts to ring, try not to swear. Let's keep the internet a clean and safe place for everybody.
Exactly.
But awesome. But guys, there's so many people on here. I just want to quickly say hello to.
I'm just reading through some of the comments.
Danica, Gav, Samuel, Syed, Jimbo,
Evertrek.
Callan, Mick, Pritesh, Maria, Jennifer, Sam,
Mick
Kate.
Hamilton's on here. Hey Mick, how you doing? Pritesh.
So awesome. Yeah, it's really good to see some new faces. We always do when we do the competition.
Of course, the designated rock carrier is here. Bry with his 3-year-old acceptance speech.
Hang on, it's Bry. No, I haven't got his name anywhere.
Bry.
Yeah.
He's the eternal winner in life anyway. And Thomas, I've done EBC and wants to do Kili next year. Great. So you got some questions there, and we will get to the questions because we've had heaps in on email, which is in our little WhatsApp group. So we got lots of those questions. We'll be going through them. But I'll tell you what. Let's start with Kili because it's an epic trip, and we were fortunate to go on a trek back in just before the pandemic, which was February 2020.
Yeah.
So let's go back a few years prior to any lockdowns and the word like furloughs and all that stuff. We were trundling up a little mountain. back in
Yeah,
February 2020.
it was the last normal thing we did before COVID.
It was.
COVID was in the kind of news in the newspapers, but it hadn't actually hit home.
Yeah.
But we thought, do you know what? Let's escape the reality and go to Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was amazing. It was one of the best things I've ever done, and I still talk about it today.
Yeah.
Summit night, and honestly, it's one of the things that just I look back on that night, and even now, like this few years later, I still can't quite believe we did it. You know, it was surreal.
It's harder, I think, Kili, and there's no getting around this. It's a difficult challenge. I think, you know, we've been, I mean, like between us, we've been to Everest Base Camp 9 times.
Yeah.
You know, multiple ascents of Toubkal and other peaks in South America. I've got a Machu Picchu and obviously Kili as well. And, you know, we kind of know a thing or two about what it takes from a high altitude perspective. And Kilimanjaro is tough. I mean, the route we do, which is via the Lemosha route, in our opinion, one of the best kind of routes to take on Kili is because of the length of it. And obviously we called our trip Kilimanjaro the long way for a reason.
Yep.
Because it's about climatization. Now there are shorter routes. There's a lot of routes up there which, you know, we could run trips to, but the fact is that the success rate on all of those routes are significantly lower than the Lemosha route. And you know, you don't want to beast yourself. You want to get up there, enjoy it. You know, okay, there's going to be pain along the way. You can't get away from that because it's a challenge. But the success rate on the Lemosha is far higher, isn't it?
Far higher, yeah.
You know?
I mean, there are 5 or 6 routes to get to the top of Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some companies that offer, like, a variation. The reason why we stick to the Lemosha, because for us, we're an adventure travel company, and one thing we're not about is rushing anywhere.
Yeah.
So we thought to ourselves, well, how can we make the best adventure and give people the best chance of success, and also see the most of the mountain and spend the longest time there?
Yeah,
Because that's what we're about. We're not about rushing to the top to see how quick we can do it.
Exactly.
If you want to do that, that's entirely possible. But the Lemosha route for us is amazing because you kind of take quite a long loop-in route through jungles. Like right at the beginning, the first couple of days, we saw monkeys in the trees
who were trying to wee on us, which is quite,
there was the
avoid, unless you're into that.
The monkey shower was unfortunate because it was peeing directly onto the path, and I was like, what the hell? Oh. All right. But it was amazing, and that's what we're about. It's an experience as well as reaching the summit. And given that it takes, sort of 8 days, it means that you have longer to acclimatize. You gain your altitude more gradually, which means that when you reach the summit, A, you have reached the summit, and B, you don't feel like you want to turn around and just run back down. You might feel that way, but at least first is we've got you there. And we get you up and down safely, and that's what the Lemosha offers. It's the perfect combination, I think, between adventure, time, absorption, and success.
Exactly. I hear there might have been some audio issues. Hopefully it's all good now. It looks a thumbs up from Zach. We all good? Audio? Yeah, there's a big thumbs up. Awesome. Great to see some first timers on here as well. We got Ryan Curry, we've got Rian, Enid Griffiths Taylor, we got Steve North. Great, and welcome to the Tuesday tune in. So going back to Kili. So you've got the Lemosha route, and for us it takes several days to get to the summit. And the first few days are not that bad, are they? You go through Big Tree Camp. You've got Shira 1, Shira 2. So you're on this plateau, and you can see the what they call the Kibo Dome of Kili, because it's a volcano, right? Even though obviously it's a mountain, it's an extinct volcano, dormant volcano.
I think Kibo is technically dormant,
but the other two, Moenzi and Shira, are
extinct. Yeah. So I was waiting for the whole time on my way up there. For just that rumbling, but no, I think it is.
That was snoring.
Yeah, when you look at it, Kibo, because it's a huge, big volcano with several different sort of, what would you call them, domes?
Yeah. Well, it's loads of them.
Yeah, Kibo being the highest. Kibo's the one we climb.
Yeah.
The highest point of that is called Uhuru Peak.
Yeah.
Which I think Uhuru means freedom.
Nice, Dave.
Yeah, never felt more free. It was amazing, honestly.
From warmth, because it was cold.
It was pretty cold. I just saw a comment there. I think it was from
Holly, was it?
No, who was it?
Andrew.
From
Shira 1, Shira 2.
Someone who said that. I remember.
Andrew Scott, brilliant. I see what you did there.
There was Rian did Kilimanjaro last year. Summit night was brutal. I think I sobbed most of the way up and felt like I was dragged back down because I was so tired. Not an uncommon sight, but honestly, you did it.
You did it, exactly.
100%. It doesn't matter how you get at the top, and it is emotional, man. Like, I gotta be honest, I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
But I was also aware of just how lucky I was with acclimatization. You saw some other groups, potentially maybe they were on the shorter ones, and you can really tell the difference when it takes when they get to that point, sort of when you're on your way up to Stellar Point, and you haven't acclimatized that well. It's like you're walking through custard.
It does. It's interesting because we all had our Garmin watches, our Sunto watches, tracking the steps. Good old Strava. If it didn't happen on Strava, it didn't happen, right? And it actually didn't recognise that we were moving that slow, especially Summit night, because we start the. I feel like we're skipping ahead, but whilst we're on Summit night, we may as well talk about it because there's a few days before this, and some of them are epic. It takes about 8 hours to get to the summit rim, and that is in the dark. So it's especially if you enjoy your sleep like me, you only have an hour or two night's sleep the night before. You do feel a bit zombified. Like that's part of the challenge, as well as the difficulty, because it's quite steep. But you're going so slow, it's hard sometimes to go that slow, but you kind of have to really from an altitude perspective. If you rush up there, you're going to struggle on the summit, and it can get dangerous. So we do take our time, and the team you've been working with now for the last few years have got an awesome track record of summit success, and obviously working with us. And putting our kind of prep into it and some of our standards, it's an epic trip in its own right.
Yeah, 100%.
And those summit, when we went up there, it was amazing because we had that kind of sunrise come up, and we were like, yay, it's sun, and then
honestly,
ping pong ball.
It was because we had there was a storm the night before, so I remember lying in bed.
Shemai, Daniel.
Shemai. I remember lying in bed. Is that Welsh? Is it?
Wow.
And I remember lying in bed in the tent. I couldn't sleep a wink, and it would be pitch black, and all of a sudden the tent would light up with these flashes of lightning.
Oh, yeah, it was a big storm.
I remember thinking, man, I wish I was. I'm glad I'm not climbing. But the next day, we still had the tail end of all the wind. Yeah. So when we were walking up to the top, it felt like there was just a train continually passing by my ears. Yeah. Just that shh noise from the wind. And then we got to the top, and it was really cold. And I remember thinking, this sun's going to come up, this glorious African sunrise, and it's just going to bathe me in its light. Yeah. And it did for about 30 seconds, and then it went, and it was the inside of a ping pong ball, and I think the temperature, if anything, it dropped. And but do you know what? Added to it for me.
Well, whenever things are hard and difficult, it's kind of in your memory then, say a year down the line, and you're thinking back to it. That's the part kind of you remember, is because you've been through the challenge. We call it type 2 fun, don't we? It's not necessarily fun at the time, unless you enjoy that kind of stuff, which some of us do, which is all good. But it's definitely afterwards you're like, that was awesome, that was amazing. Where actually it was quite challenging, and all of us were cold. I mean, I rarely wear jackets over my down jacket. But even then, it was that cold, right?
I mean,
rare occasion.
It was cold.
Because of the wind.
Yeah, it was the wind that cut through us, I think, that was really cold. Yeah. But I wouldn't change it for the world. And it is that type 2 fun when, like, everyone says, like, it's funny because we have a conversation. We will get to the other days that are in between start and summit.
I think we've rushed ahead.
This is what Kili does. It draws you to the summit. Yeah, and the first thing everyone, those of you that have done Kili and those of you that will do Kili will soon know that if you meet someone else that does it and you're like, hey, it's going to, I've done Kili. What was summit like for you?
Yeah,
it's the first thing that comes up. But it is that type 2 fun. I mean, anyone that's ever taken an Andy shortcut will know about type 2 fun.
Excuse me, it's all about the shortcuts, mate.
Yeah, it is.
Unless on Kili.
Andy's one. It's a shortcut to a longer route. That's the way I look at it.
It's all training for the bigger challenges.
So here we go. So we're going to exclude Summit Night.
Okay.
Highlight of the trip.
Ooh, other than Summit Night. Drop me in it there. Personally, whenever I go on any of these trips, Everest Base Camp, was one of the first, and coming back from that is how we set the company up. Obviously we've gone on a little bit from there, and we had Evertrekkers who enjoyed Everest Base Camp so much, and obviously the group side of things, they wanted to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that for me is when we go on these trips and you meet other people. So the group side of it, I mean, you think of the people we went to Kili with, obviously we're still in touch, we're mates. I know some of them we were friends before, but I kind of think for me, part of obviously it's great whatever you get to, but any travel, any challenge, any adventure you go on, it is about the people you meet. You know, and that can be the locals, the porters, the guides, the hotel staff, people who pick you up from the airport, some of the bar staff out there, the chefs, the cooks, even the people who look after your toilets. They're all lovely people and you get to know them. And then obviously the people in your group, the people you go through those challenges with. It forges, in my mind, those relationships.
Pressure forges the diamond.
Yeah, exactly. and I think on trips, I think that's a big thing for me, is that it's all about the people you travel with. Obviously the destination's amazing, but it's the journey as well,
Awesome. That is a great answer.
Sorry, Dave, I'm going to throw the ball to you now.
I can't use that. So you're gonna be like, it's all about the people you meet. I'm gonna say, right, never mind the people, forget those. I think Barranco Wall, one of the most memorable things I ever did.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think it's because it was a little bit of a micro journey within a journey for me, that one, because I remember going up to Lava Tower. I was really, really looking forward to Lava Tower on my way up there. It was one of the bits I was like, I just really want to see this structure. And when I got there, I just felt rough. So I was like, I don't feel that good. So I didn't really look at it. I sat in the tent, ate some chicken, drank loads of water, walked down to Barranco, and I saw this big black wall in front of me, and it's hard to discern how you'd climb it from such far away.
It looks formidable, doesn't it?
And I remember going to bed with that. This is what I live for, right? When you go to bed before you're about to do something, and I get that buzz. I get this fizz that I'm excited about. It's strange. It's like, the best way I can describe it is how, I've never done one, but it must feel like before you do a bungee jump, or just before you jump in to swim with sharks. And I had that feeling, and that's what I love about our trips as well. It's not the trip as a whole that does it, although it does. It's, each day gives you that experience. So the next day I was like buzzing. Climbed the wall, it was amazing, but the top was just...
You liked the music, didn't you?
Do you know what? It was the best mini party I've ever done.
I remember that,
You get to the top of Barranco Wall, spoilers by the way, and it's just this big, flat kind of rock on top of a cliff. All you can see ahead of you is cloud, so you can get a cool picture of you jumping in the clouds. But our guide, this is what I love about Africa, like the guides are just, they're party animals, man. And the one guy was put on Little Richard, right? So we were listening to Lucille, Long Tall Sally...
it's a bit of an eclectic mix going on there. I mean, not everyone's cup of tea. But we had a few people walk past, go, "How can you play that music?" And we're like, "Okay, fair dues." But it was a great energy.
You see, for me, there are places, where I've been to Everest Base Camp and other trips where you think, this is a moment for sort of quiet reflection.
It's a different vibe.
For me, though,
it's a lot of high energy, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, Kili is like, and you meet people, it's like, hey, how's it going? It's like it's a big energy. It's like a celebration, and that's how I took it. And don't get me wrong, there are those moments of quiet reflection, where you can just sit back and look at where you are and drink it in. But also, it's the buzz and the energy was fantastic, especially on that day. Amazing.
Oh, no, it was special. No, Barranco Wall, I think you're right there, Dave. It's definitely a massive highlight, especially because it, if you've not done much scrambling before. I mean, I'm just reading through the comments now. There's a lot of people who, haven't really done much climbing or things like that. And with Kili, it is just a trekking peak. It is just walking. Obviously it is a challenge, but when it comes to the technical aspect, I mean, this is probably the most difficult part, Barranco Wall. But having done it and known varied levels of experience in the mountains, you don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to be massively fit. It helps, but it's nothing technical. There's one area where they call kissing rock, because you kind of climb around it and you can kiss the rock if you like. It's up to you. And then that's kind of the most exposed bit. That's one bit. But the guides are there to make sure that you're safe. Nothing obviously happens to you. And it's having been up there, it's not as bad as you kind of read about in terms of the that little part there. But most of it, you got about 250 meters of ascent, and there's a path that kind of winds its way through it, and some of it's a bit scrambly, but actually it's awesome. And as Dave, I think is no surprise. I mean, I know I was getting a bit philosophical with the people stuff, but in terms of the physical stuff and the challenges stuff, Barranco Wall is
oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best. Absolutely loved it.
Loving the comments as well. Steve North sounds like I'm the guy for this. We've got Denise, scrambling course in July booked. Yeah, it all helps, doesn't it? Anything you do when it comes to getting out in the mountains and walking.
Yeah.
That could be walking your dog. It could be getting out and doing an hour for lunch. It could be getting out Pen y Fan, Snowdon, Ben Nevis, Scaffold Pike, even the Yorkshire Dales. Whatever you want to go hiking, it all helps. It all adds to the kind of the getting you prepared, ready for the summit night.
100%.
You know?
I mean, Zach, producer man behind the camera there, is doing it in October.
Yes.
With Jody.
Yeah, one of our other Yetis, Dancing Yeti as well. Yeah.
One of the things we've talked about is doing a night hike.
That's a good point. That does,
doing a night hike.
Massive.
And then just because that's the thing that Kili offers, and the one thing that's like quite exciting but also can be quite intimidating is that, you know, some people may have trekked at altitude before, some people may have trekked at night before, some people may have trekked like up a big mountain like that before, but really would you do all three?
Yes.
You know, and that's what Kilimanjaro offers you. It's that experience to be, it has a real expedition feel on summit night, that you are leaving late at night at high altitude, lit only by a head torch. Everyone's around is like dressed to the gills in their high altitude warm stuff, and absolutely amazing. Lots of talk actually about.
I know, we got some good
people doing lots of the UK big three peaks.
Climbing Snowdon or Oither, awesome to hear that.
Brona, is that an Irish name? Because it terrifies me. I never get them right.
You're awful with names.
I am, but I mean, sometimes it's really hard to discern the pronunciation. But I am bad with names. I think I owe everyone, was it a pint every time I get a name wrong?
I was going to say, Dave, you may as well just put the card behind the bar and just leave it. There's too many beer fines for you.
Exactly, yeah. Let's see who else. So there's... it is.
There we go. Oh, you
got it right. Got it right. See, there you are, mate. There you are.
Well done, mate. Well done. Well done, Brona.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, look, we've got a lot of questions already. I feel. So how are we going to do this? So what we got? We've got 25 minutes. So we've got about half hour to go. So we'll tackle a couple of questions, and then I know you've all been waiting patiently for this. Some of you joined the competition right at the start, which was about 3 and a bit weeks ago. So really appreciate your patience.
Yeah.
So we'll do about 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll do the winner announcement, and then we'll do some questions after that as well. That should take us to about 1:30. And let's do that. So questions, we've had a bunch on
email, and also Vicky is capturing the ones that you've left in the chat and is feeding them through the magic of technology to us.
I'll tell you what I'll do as well, because we've got loads. I'll fire through some of them. I don't know if you want 2 each, 2 and 2.
Yeah, you want to do 2 each? Yeah.
One, I'm going to tackle this one first because I saw someone put up about asthma. Someone saying that they got asthma. Can they do it? And obviously, with regards to any health issue, it's always good to speak to your GP or medical professional. But I'm an asthmatic myself. I know a lot of Evertrekkers who are asthmatics. As long as it's controlled and managed at sea level, and you use the same principles at altitude. Breathing's still the same. You will get out of breath more. And especially if you've got, so definitely take that into the equation. So for instance, just if you're walking up a steep hill and you're getting out of breath and it gets too much, just stop and slow down. No rush. It's altitude. You want to let your body acclimatise. If you've got things like that set it off, like dust or allergies, maybe you could start wearing a buff, especially on Kili, because you've got a lot of the volcanic dust and the ash that is quite sandy. So if that kind of sets your asthma off, just wear a buff. Obviously, if you're booking with us, you will get a buff anyway through one of our welcome packs. So you can obviously use that. That will help it. But yeah, just from a fellow asthmatic to a fellow asthmatic, it's more about how you manage your body. And if you can manage it at sea level, you can manage it in the mountains.
Yep.
Let's have a look. Saeed was, what's the food and news? Bathroom availability. Food is awesome. A mix, local, Western. There's lots of different types of food in Tanzania. Bathrooms, actually, we have private toilets. There are long drops available if we need to use them. But actually, with all of our groups, we take private toilets with our groups on Kili.
Yep. Awesome. Yep. So I'll answer one from Sarah Melodew. It says, how do you manage people acclimatizing to altitude? It's your one worry signing up to a trip. Honestly, it's probably the one thing that draws people to these adventures and the one thing that puts them off. Yeah. It's amazing because altitude is partly what makes it the adventure. It adds a level of uncertainty, maybe a little bit of danger sprinkled in, and it turns it from just a trek that you'd confidently and comfortably.
And you mixed it together?
And I mixed it together.
It's a new
anyway, one that you would do quite comfortably, and it turns it into like a little what if. So what we try and do is, there are some things you can do before you go. Namely, you want to try and build as much physical resilience as you can. So doing some training certainly helps. It is true that even the fittest person can still get altitude sickness. But it's also true that the fitter you are, the less likely it is to affect you, because you'll be exerting yourself a lot less. You won't be so exhausted at the end of the day. And when you're not exhausted, you're able to eat more, drink more, sleep better. So it does certainly help. Then once you're on the mountain, the one thing that we do is, well, anyone that knows Tanzania will know pole pole, which means slowly, slowly.
Take it easy.
That's how we go. Everything is pole pole. We take our time. It's a little gentle walk. It's not a push for the summit. It's not a get to the chopper and we run. It is just relax, take pictures, enjoy yourself. And also the route itself, the Lamosha route, is designed, it's perfectly designed for acclimatization. Because rather than only getting 4 days and then summiting on the 5th, you have like a full 7 days to get to the summit. And during that time we'll climb high and sleep low, which is a tried and tested method for acclimatization. There's a lot more I could talk about on that one, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop us a message. We'll happily go through it all with you, put your mind to rest.
I'll jump in, because I know we're doing quickfire, but Pritesh just put in there, who's on the regular Tuesday tune-in now, Evertrekker, who joins us on the Tuesday tune-in every week, and she mentioned that, they mentioned that with regards to getting to summit, normally it'd be about 8 hours, and they took 9, and that's fine. If it takes a little bit longer, you got there, and that's the big thing.
Doesn't matter. It takes as long as it takes.
Back of what you said.
Some people get there in like 6 hours, some people get there in 9 hours. We're not about getting there in a time. This isn't. I always say to people, look, if you want to do like a serious adventure challenge, like a race, they exist in the world. That's not what this is. This is a trek to the top and a trek back down.
Enjoyable. Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry, Dave, go for it.
Louise Winter has said, how cold is it? What is the food like?
Ooh.
So Andy covered the food. It's really good. You can eat meat and stuff if you're a meat eater. You can eat vegetarian, whatever. We can cater for certain dietary requirements. It's all very good stuff. How cold is it? Depends roughly on what time of year. And really we're talking about the summit. Leading up to the summit, it's quite mild to warm. It never really gets that cold. Perhaps when the sun goes down, if you're still out and about taking pictures of the sky and stuff, then maybe you'll want a jacket on and stuff like that. If you're going in the height of summer, sort of July, August, you can expect hot temperatures. It's still going to be below 0 on the summit most of the time. You do get rare occurrences where it'll be like quite warm depending on what time you arrive. But generally speaking, you'll be on the summit early hours of the morning, between sort of 6 and 9. If the sun rises and it's a clear day, it'll warm up. If it doesn't, it'll stay cold. So it is a little bit of a mix and match. Depends on what time of year you go. What we always say, though, is especially on Kili, you need to pack for 4 seasons. You're going to have hot weather. You'll definitely have some rain. It'll definitely be cold, and everything in between.
Nice. I'm going to blast through these. Lee Taylor, how do you prepare your feet? Good question. I think with any adventure, even here in the UK or wherever you're watching this from, it's just about choosing the right footwear and wearing them in. And that goes for whether you want to wear sort of trekking boots. Some people wear trail shoes. We always err on the side of caution and go for the boots just because it gives you more ankle support. 2 or 3 days in, you don't want to be rolling an ankle and that sort of trip over. We always recommend, sturdy ankle boots like the Maindel Boutans. There's lots of different types of boots out there. Loads we mentioned. We have done numerous lives on footwear. Definitely have a look at some of those lives. Give you a bit more in-depth around feet. That being said, we do get people who wear trail shoes. They're trail runners, they're used to running, and they prefer it. But it's, obviously this is, you can wear what you want. This is just our recommendations. But, we want to get you to the summit and whatever is comfortable for you. So, regarding looking after your feet, that means just getting out there, wear it in whatever you buy, making sure it's comfortable so you don't kind of blister up when you're out there. And same when you're out there, just keep them in the evenings. Maybe bring some footwear that you can take off your sweaty boots from the day. Dave, you like to bring like sort of flip-flop sliders, are they called?
Sliders, Crocs,
things like
anything
that.
Like that.
Something like that. Or separate trail shoes that you can get into out to your boots. Something like that.
Yeah.
What else we got? I've heard. No, that's there. Do you have any downtime, Anya Gill? Yeah, you do. You do have quite a bit of downtime in terms of the, if you get to camp, just using. So we got Big Tree Camp, then you got Shira 1, Shira 2. Normally those days you have a little bit, especially when you get to Shira 2, because you'll get there probably just after lunchtime, and then you got the afternoon. Normally we go on a bit of an acclimatization hike for about an hour. So we go up and use our tried and tested, hike high, sleep low method, which helps the body acclimatize. So in the afternoon, you'll get some downtime to relax, take pictures, chill, whatever's good for you, whatever you want to do to relax. Some people play. We played Uno in the camp with the rest of the guys, and that is
can get quite hectic.
Can get quite competitive.
Yeah, if someone puts a +4 down,
you can see that.
Oh, turn the tent blue.
Great stuff. Go for it. Next question, Dave.
So the next one I've got is from Thomas Edwards. You've done EBC and you want to do Kili next year. Is there much difference in terms of difficulty or prep that you should be doing for a successful summit? Thanks, lads. So it's a little bit like comparing apples and oranges, chalk and cheese in terms of the trip, because they're quite different. But actually, I believe that if you are fit enough to do, if you've done EBC and you did that quite comfortably and you weren't too stressed, then you're almost certainly fit enough to do Kilimanjaro as well.
Yes.
The intensity is a little bit greater on Kilimanjaro because summit day, like I said, is at night. It's quite a long day. You're a bit tired because of sleep lack and things like that. So it is a little bit more intense, but in terms of fitness and stuff, if you found that you did EBC comfortably, then whatever you did for EBC should be good enough for Kili. If you found that EBC was like quite difficult in places, then certainly doing some more training will help you in that respect.
Nice.
I find the best training to do is a mixture of like strength and endurance stuff and cardio. It's good to have cardio. I used to run, but now I do it all on the bike. When you're cycling uphill, it's a really good sort of simulation because although you're moving quite slowly, your heart rate and your breathing is really rapid. It's kind of similar to how it feels at altitude. So by doing that, I kind of, when I get into that situation at altitude, it's not unfamiliar, so it's not frightening.
Nice.
I think that's pretty much it, really. Next one.
Go on, Dave. I got a couple if you want me to jump in. Or are you happy to take another one?
Go on, because I'm just getting lost with them at what time is the announcement and stuff like that. Soon.
won't be long. There's a lot here around charities and Kilimanjaro is kind of world famous, isn't it, for being a peak where a lot of people go out there to raise money for charity, which is epic. And if you're doing that, look, brilliant. If obviously you don't win today, you can still book on and raise money for charity, 100%. And there's loads of charities out there. We've got a really useful bit of info around, ideas on raising money for charity and how to. Because there's a couple of different ways. And there are companies out there that specifically are for fundraising and they build it in. We're kind of a little bit different. With us, obviously, the trip cost is the trip cost. And then whatever you raise outside of that goes to the charity. It's normally how it works. And we kind of prefer that in a way. Obviously, there's lots of different ways, and I know a lot of people who do it for charity, but whatever you raise for charity is amazing. We've got some charities ourselves that we've supported in the past, like Brecon Mountain Rescue, who we supported over the last couple of years. We've also helped Llamau homeless, end youth homelessness here in Wales. Just things really that we're close to, as well as helping our team over in Nepal during the pandemic. So we've done some kind of fundraisers, but if you're doing the charity stuff, go for it. If you book on, and then obviously afterwards, if you don't win, and then we can assist you with regards to the fundraising after that. Yep. Go on, mate.
Go on. Sorry. Have you got one?
Yeah, I was just this one. Andy Richards, really good question. What are the add-ons on the trip? Because if you do go to Kili, obviously it's a long way to go, and some people they want to do some things afterwards. And Tanzania is an amazing place. Like there's so much to do there. It's world famous, obviously, from the safari side of things, and we offer a couple of different packages for that as kind of add-ons to the trip. Also, any scuba divers out there, or anyone who just wants to chill on the beach for a few days, you could go down to Zanzibar, where the awesome singer Freddie Mercury was born. You can go down. Did you know that?
I think you've told me before.
Have I? I thought I'd surprise you with that one, and I'm like,
but yeah,
Zach's surprised. Wow, he just fell off his chair.
I'm certain you've told me that before.
Brilliant. Anyway, Zanzibar is amazing, and you can choose to do that. I think we got like a 3-day and a 5-day kind of package after the trip, and you can book that on in your members dashboard if you're booked in.
Awesome.
Right, a couple more questions, and I think we're going to do the announcement.
Danica Woods has said, what's the situation with vaccinations? Do you need to have any specific jabs before going?
Yeah.
There are some highly recommended jabs that you're going to need. Vicky, if you can post the... this is for everyone and Vicky, but if you do, if you put Nomad Travel Clinics Tanzania vaccinations into Google, Nomad Travel Clinics will come up.
Yep.
That's where I get my vaccinations from. And it gives you a list of everything that's mandatory and everything that's recommended. The only two that I would say are worth commenting on now, I guess, is rabies, which is optional.
Yeah.
Actually, three. One of them, malaria, which is definitely not optional. You have to take your malaria meds. And also yellow fever. There's a lot about, will you or won't you be allowed into Tanzania if you have yellow fever. I haven't had it. I travelled to Tanzania. I was fine. It depends on which countries you're transiting through. I think if you're coming through Kenya, then you will need yellow fever. Yeah. If you're worried about that, the doctor can give you like an exemption letter that you can take with you. Honestly, when I went there, it wasn't checked because I wasn't transiting through a country where it was mandatory. But other than that, you can have that.
We've got Evertrekkers who are out there now, and literally their day one of trekking is today.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, we haven't heard any difficulties of their journey.
Yeah.
And regarding we've had about 150 other summiters already this year, and the yellow fever thing it's becoming easier to navigate. I think it used to be a lot more challenging. First time I went to Tanzania was 2008, and you definitely had to have yellow fever. It's kind of changed. I just saw. Zach, did you put something about the bottom of the screen? I like it.
You're supposed to be concentrating on the video, and there he is communicating.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Cordelia Stevens has said, I'm hoping to climb Kilimanjaro with my mum next year for juvenile diabetes. Super excited, but you were a bit worried about how diabetes is affected when climbing. Are there any tips for diabetics at such altitude? So we've taken quite a few people who have suffered from diabetes on our trips. Yeah. And I think the first thing to say is that one, obviously we're not doctors, so any advice we give is anecdotal, but if you want actual medical advice, go to a doctor. The first thing is obviously it depends on which type, so diet can be strictly controlled. So either by bringing your own stuff and letting us know what is good and not good for you, we can certainly help. Secondly, if it requires medication and injections, it's making sure that they are sort of either kept cool or something like that. So some people have like a little cool bag that they can bring to keep their meds in. Altitude won't really exasperate it beyond, if you can get physically quite tired and exhausted. So maybe that might be an issue, so you need to keep on top of it. Certainly what I would suggest is lots of training beforehand and speak to a doctor, but it certainly doesn't exclude you from doing Kilimanjaro. We've taken people before, and we can certainly manage it for you. Yeah,
exactly. And I think as long as it's managed, we can manage it in certain ways. When you do book on with us in our kind of new members area now, there is a section there for any kind of medical stuff that's going on that we can obviously be aware of, just so we can let our guides know, and obviously we keep it confidential. Any kind of medical issue. We don't like. I mean, we've had so many different types of people with many different medical issues on all of our trips, especially Everest Base Camp, Kilimanjaro, even Toubkal, Machu Picchu, in South America, in Peru. And as long as we know, we can obviously work that and help you. And some people have brought carers with them for specific ailments and issues or disabilities. And we can accommodate. And at the end of the day, we don't want to say no. Let's think. Okay, how can we make that happen for you? We're not saying we can do everything, but we can certainly look at it, and we want to make this adventure happen for you, because that's what life's about, isn't it? Getting out there and taking on these challenges. If you're motivated and you want to do it, let's make it happen for you. Yeah. Dave, I think we should do the winner announcement, because you feeling good?
Nervy.
Brilliant. Well, yeah. If you've ever been on one of our competition winner announcements, normally we'd hold up a board with the name. Now, we do have a board here with a name. We've also got some juicy little graphics, right, Zach? But what we're going to do is now, Dave has got the person's number, and we're going to call you. So if it is calling, Dave, as you said before, try not to swear. Obviously, if you're going to answer, you're going to be quite happy, I guess. And hopefully the person will answer. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Congratulations, this person.
If they don't answer, do they still win? We don't go to the next person on the list.
They do. It's just like, it'd be cool if they did answer.
Who was next on the list? Bri McAlpine. Never mind,
He's teasing you now,
but you say this person's won no matter what, right?
But yeah, good luck to everyone. And look, I just want to say before we do this as well that, you know, it's been amazing. Like I said, we've had over 20,000 people enter this, which is insane, but fantastic. And also that do check your emails after the live. You know, the fact is you're in the Evertrekker community. We do this every week where we answer the questions. We talk about different subjects. And there'll be a nice little, some runner-up prizes and emails coming your way. So do keep an eye on your emails after this if you don't win. Yeah. But Dave, I'll leave the honours to you. We will.
Shall I do it?
Quieten down.
Okay.
And we'll put it on loudspeaker.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit quieter so we can hear them.
Okay. So
off.
Basically, we did a sound check before this, and all we realised was me going, "Hey, how's it going?" and no one else could hear a single thing.
We're both naturally quite loud.
Yeah. So I'm going to be like, "Hey, how's it?" No, this is going to be a nice, relaxing.
Okay, right, you ready? Loudspeaker. Let's have a little look, put it close to the mic. I'll let you do the talking.
Not going to answer.
I know. It's a bit typical now, isn't it? Oh, he's not. They're not. Ooh, nothing yet. Oof. This is typical, isn't it?
Welcome to the O2. The person you are calling
I'm going
to
try one more
take
time.
your call. Please leave your message.
This is typical, isn't it? Because you never know, right? This is live. I mean, it's not like, oh, someone's phone isn't ringing. Are they going to leave? Oh, someone's like, Dave's like, my phone's ringing. Everyone's there now is thinking.
No.
Oh, it's gutting, isn't it? It's typical of all the times. Do you want me to try?
I don't think it matters which number you dial.
But you never know, do you? Well, this is live now, and we're going to go...
Zach is telling us one more time,
and then we'll have to move on. Everyone's like, you can call me... Right, I'm going to tone it down.
This person's going to be panicking there. They're going to have like so many missed calls.
Welcome to the O2 messaging service.
Never mind.
Oh, he's sorry, can't talk right now. We got a text from them. I tell you what, shall I put them? Make sure you watch.
Do you know what that is?
He's in work.
That's one of those auto things that you send when you don't answer.
Do you think that's what it is?
That's 100% what it is.
Really?
I know. I've seen the reply.
Okay.
I get it a lot. Okay, well, we're going to have to announce the winner the old-fashioned way. So the winner, should we do a 3, 2, 1?
Okay, yeah, go on then. We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
The winner, hang on.
Because you're going to put it on the screen, right? Here we go. It's going to be a little bit different. Nice.
So it's going to show up.
And here we go. So we're going to do the winner announcement on the screen. Okay, so it's a little bit of a...
Exactly. Are you telling me 5 seconds or is that wait? And the winner is... Robert Still!
Robert.
Congratulations, Robert. I'm really sorry that you couldn't answer the telephone. But congratulations on winning.
Yes, congratulations.
The Kilimanjaro trip.
That's typical, isn't it? I'm trying to... He's in the middle of texting. You never know, he might get him on.
Yeah.
But just because we like to do a little bit of, socials off the back of it, should we get the board up as well?
Here we go.
Traditions, right? We've done
tradition.
this on every
Do you know what's
one.
funny? Like, we do this with the whiteboard and Zach's like, we could do it better. We could have graphic on the screen. So we've let him do the graphic, but we're still keeping the board.
Still keeping the board, yeah.
And the winner?
There we go. Right, are we on?
There we go. Hey. Lift it up a bit, is it?
Lift it.
Yeah, but then you can't see us. That's the whole point.
I think it's because Robert is... here we go. You're a winner. Great stuff. Well, there we go. Lovely artwork as well. Who was that?
Amazing.
Was that Lauren?
This was actually Lauren's artwork. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Loving the artwork. Loving it. That's it. We want to fire off some celebratory.
Yeah.
But no, huge congratulations. It's a shame we can't get him on the call, but
that's it.
We know life happens and it's in the middle of the day. But yeah, we'll definitely be in touch with the winner. I'm sure he'll reply, and then we'll go to it. But thanks for everyone who've obviously entered. Now we've still got another 10 minutes, so I think we'll still take on some more questions.
Yeah, why not? We can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Now I've had that big sort of adrenaline rush now.
Were you excited then?
I was very excited, but I damn it, Rob. Awesome.
It's all good. It's all good.
Looking at this one, so Becca Clunan has asked, what is the rough backpack size? Backpack? That Father Christmas climbs Kili all the time.
Freudian slip there?
Yeah. What is the rough backpack size / weight you will carry to the summit? So our trips are all porter supported, so the majority of your stuff is in a duffel bag that the porters carry for you. Yeah. We recommend an approximate 30-litre day pack. Yeah. Some people have taken 25, some people 35. I think 30 is a sweet spot. Osprey is a really, really good brand. Yeah. So I would say 90% of the rucksacks I see on trips these days are Osprey Talons. So yeah, they're really, really good. The weight in there, not too much, probably a couple of litres of water, that's a couple of kilos, and then maybe 2-3 more kilos of just clothes and snacks and stuff like that. So nothing more than you wouldn't take on a full day out in the mountains back home. Yeah. Hopefully that's good for you.
Nice. Sorry, I was just... Sorry.
Hannah Ware has said, how do you charge phones / cameras? So
yes.
We recommend bringing portable power banks with you. So a good make of those is Anker, but there's also Rav Power and a few other different ones. Certainly there's nowhere really to charge on the mountain. Sometimes you can go, there's always like a central registration hut at each camp. Yeah. Sometimes you can pay for charge in there, but it is unreliable, and obviously there's a lot of people trying to do it. So I personally always bring portable power banks. Yeah. I think 2 is enough for the entire trip on Kilimanjaro if you get a high capacity one. And that's it, you're done.
Nice. Great questions. There's not Kili related, but what's the best coffee spot on Toubkal? There's quite a few in Marrakesh, aren't there? I mean, I'm trying to think now of the best spot. There was, to be honest, if you go to in the souks, personally, when you're in, if you're going to Toubkal, any question, any trip, by the way, I know we're here talking about Kili, but yeah, with regards to Marrakesh, if you go to the Medina, which is like basically the central market area, you'll see the souks. Now this is like a labyrinth it's like a market crossed with a labyrinth. It's epic. And in there, you have some coffee in there. There's so many different nice places. Off the top of my head, I can't remember specifics, but yeah, there's some great ones there.
Yeah, I think the best coffee I ever had was back at the Refuge after Summit Night.
Yeah, that was good. Well, you needed it.
I don't know what the brand was. I just know that it was a lovely hot cup of coffee.
Nice.
A lovely hot cup of coffee that kept me going.
You needed it. Brilliant.
Amazing.
I'm just looking. What's the max days you need to set aside for the trip? Yeah, really good question. Because basically you're on the mountain for 8 days, so 7 up, 1 down, and then we like to have 2 nights before and 1 after. So say 11 days. Yeah. Now obviously if you're coming from the UK, it takes a little bit of time. Usually there's rarely any direct flights to Tanzania. Sometimes there are, but you have to stop off in the Middle East, somewhere like Qatar, like Doha, depending on who you're flying with. You've got Turkish Airlines, you've got Emirates. There's loads of options. Quick little Google or Skyscanner and you'll see those. And then you might want to stop for an extra couple of days if you want to do a safari or go to the beach. So let's say you put aside 2 weeks. That would be enough for going up there, doing the trip, having a chill time, and having a relaxed time. If you were tight on time, then we can look to get you back within 11 days if we had to. But yeah, once in a lifetime thing. If you're going to go out there, it's great to have a couple of days, even if you can get the safari. It's brilliant. It really is.
Awesome. Yeah. So Kate has asked about yellow fever being mandatory. Yeah. So it depends on which country you're transferring through. Yeah. You can always speak to Nomad Travel Clinic, and they can tell you whether you're going to need it or not. If you don't need it and you're still a bit worried that you might get asked for it, you can have an exemption letter from your GP. I travelled from the UK via Qatar. Didn't need one, wasn't asked, no problem, didn't think about it. So hopefully that's good.
Yeah. Brilliant. Looking best time of year to go. I think it's from Thomas Edwards. Thanks, Thomas. Best time of year. There's a lot of times where you can go in Kili. I mean, to be honest, you can go anytime. What you don't want to do is go through the wet season. So we go in January, February, March, and there's a little bit of a gap, and then we start going again. Literally, like this month, June. So we've got June, July, August, September, and then we usually have a sort of low season, and then you're back again in January. So yeah, there's a lot. There's times like earlier in the year where there's less rain, like February, March, less rain. But then if you go in like April or May, chance of rain. Then you've got the dry season, and then which is great. But to be honest, anytime you go to Kili, you might get rain, just because of the kind of the climate that's there. You know, and they say the locals kind of say most of the time, and sometimes Kili is wearing its blanket or its duvet because it's covered in cloud. And they call that a little duvet, which I thought was quite nice to
exactly.
picture.
Kili often pulls its duvet over so you can't see it.
It does, but it's still beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Exactly. Awesome. Two things I wanted to call out. One was so Stefan has asked. I'm going to look at the camera because I think Stefan's our deaf guy that's absolutely brilliant at lip reading.
Yeah.
So he's asked how high is he thinks it was 5'3". It's actually 5'895" meters. So annoyingly shy of 6,000.
I know, you want to
just that extra.
Put your hand up a little
it's
bit.
Because you have these like milestones in my mind, and like 5,000 is a big one, and then 6 is the next big
15
one.
15 meters.
Annoying.
But hey ho, that's the mountain. Still an epic challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you can do it. Yeah, 100%. It's a brilliant trip.
And another one, Alicia Payne said, just wanted to thank you for the advice and reassurance for beginners. My husband is desperate for me to join him next year for his 30th, and I feel I'm just going to go for it now. Honestly, Alicia, that's the type of comment that I absolutely love to hear. Any time that we can take someone whose mindset was, I don't know, I'm not sure, am I fit enough, and turn it into, I definitely can do it, I'm 100% going to do it, I want to get, take on the challenge, and whatever you've got to do, you can do. I promise you, it's not just for like superheroes and altitude junkies. Anyone can do it. Just put a little bit of training in beforehand, couple that with a good sense of humor and a positive mind, and you will get to the top, I promise you.
Exactly. Eric, how you doing, Eric? Great to see you on the live. Do the safari, even if it's just a couple of days. Daughter and I went for 3-day safari. Life-changing experience in Ngorongoro is epic. Yeah, I hope life is treating you well, Eric. Long time no speak, mate. We'll have to get in touch. Helen, going in September, having nightmares about the Barranco Wall. Is it as bad as it looks? Now, I know we were chatting about it earlier on in the live. Might be worth, because this will be on replay afterwards. But Helen, a Barranco Wall, I think we felt the same the first time we went there, and it was, oh my God, that looks really difficult. But actually, when you're kind of scrambling through it, and there's a nice windy path, it's not as hard as I'd seen some of the other videos to kind of put it there. And afterwards, I went, like, it is challenging. You can't get around that. It is, it's not flat, and you will have to do some kind of little bit of climbing, but it's not technical at all. I've trekked there with some friends who rarely do any form of trekking, and they were fine. And they got to the summit, and it just shows that there's it is a challenge, but if you take it on with the that positive mindset, get your body in the best shape possible. Like as Dave said, you don't need to be a superhero, but the fitter you are, the more enjoyable it'll be. Go there to have an awesome time, and you're going to get the summit. And obviously, people can get unlucky. Altitude can hit anyone. We've always been quite lucky, and we've had minimal altitude issues. We've had some customers who we've had to get down. We'd be lying if we said we'd never had to evacuate on Kili, because it is altitude and things do happen, and some people's bodies don't adjust, but we'll get you down safely. But if you go there, with the right mindset, get your body in the right space, we're gonna get you to the summit.
Absolutely, awesome. So had a quick question here from Adam Edwards. Hey, I think me and Adam trekked together on a training weekend.
Oh, really?
I'm certain of
hey,
that.
Adam, how's it going?
I think he's got a cute little French bulldog.
So,
Adam, does it get as busy as EBC?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, I potentially, like any popular trekking destination, it's always going to attract a certain number of trekkers. Having done EBC quite a few times, I would say it does kind of vary depending on the season that you go and the time during that season. I've certainly been out there where it's not been as busy, and certainly when it's been pretty busy. Kilimanjaro, the Lemosho route is probably not as busy as some of the other routes. So although you will certainly see other trekkers, there's plenty of time where you're kind of like just trekking in your group and not really surrounded by people. So I would say it's comparable to EBC, maybe a little bit quieter, but it's hard to say because each time you set off, it's sort of in the hands of the gods really as to how many other people are doing the trip at the same time as you. But I would say comparable to EBC.
I love that. Mike, Another great session. My Welsh family from Barry Island would say tidy. They would.
Oh, tidy, Mike, tidy.
Great. Yeah, I used to live in Barry. Awesome place. Yeah, quite close to the sea, isn't it? And especially Barry Island. Ever any Gavin and Stacey
The Isle of
fans
Bury.
The Isle of Bury. But right, I think we'll kind of bring it to an end in a bit now. But it's been really, really great to see so many of you on the live. As I mentioned earlier on, we do these every week. Obviously, sometimes we have holidays. We're off. Or we're in mountains. Sometimes we have different Yetis on here. But we always want to get these kind of questions, your questions, answered. Especially if you're thinking about any adventure. Especially high altitude, things like that. Because we know that, we were there once. Before Evertrek was a thing, we wanted to go to these places and were, like for me, I was wondering about my asthma. I was wondering, was I fit enough? What equipment do I need? How much is going to cost? How much days annual leave do I need? Got all these questions. And we want to make sure that those are answered ready for you. So cool, I can actually make this happen. And not put it to the side for a day down the road when it never happens. Let's get it done now. Life is too short, right? It's been really, really great live, Dave. I usually leave you with the final thoughts on today.
Thank you everybody for joining in. If this is the first Tuesday tune-in and you found us because of the comp, know that we do this every single Tuesday at 12:30. We talk about all things trekking related, all things adventure related. So please come back and keep joining us because it means more to us. The more people join, the more people get convinced to go out there and do amazing things. It's a good feeling. So please keep me going. And also there is a quick question from Will Smith. What's the hardest part of climbing Kili? Summit night, definitely. If you want to talk more in depth about it, drop me a message, but I couldn't let Will Smith hang.
No, you don't want to leave him Will
but other than that, guys,
fantastic. And obviously congratulations to Rob. Obviously we'll be in touch. Gutted we couldn't speak to you, but we'll obviously give you a call afterwards if you're watching this. To everyone else, like I said at the beginning, just do keep an eye out your emails this afternoon. See you again next week.
Take it easy.
Bye.